Thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. If you don't know who I am, my name's Jeremiah Krakowski, and I've been helping business owners for the last 17 years grow their businesses. Been helping coach people on how to grow to 6 and 7 figures for the last 6 years. And what I want to do is I want to help you use social media to get more clients, get more results. If you're listening to this right now, you know that social media is where your target customer is, but you want to learn how to communicate in a way to attract them to what you have to offer and to connect with the people that are ready to buy from you in a powerful way, your target customer. And we call it our target customer because it's not our current customers. It's not just anybody who buys our product. It's who is most likely to buy from us. And this is the first part of this that I want to lean into for you. But before I go into that, I want to tell you this. If you're not part of the hashtag Grow Your Life community on Facebook, the Facebook group, join that. There's 1,000 people in there. It's growing every single day. Probably 20, 30 people a week joining the group. If you're not in there, people just like you are growing in their business, growing in their life. And on this podcast, we talk about ways for you to grow in your life and in your business relating to mindset, as well as strategies, tips, and techniques to get results that work. And so what I'm going to share with you is a formula that I've been developing, that I have been coaching my coaching clients with, and that has been getting massive results for the people that I've been working with over the last 2 years using social media. What this is going to do is help you create content, organic content that attracts the type of person to you that is most likely to be your target customer. And here's a few little aspects to this I want to share with you. As you know, I have a course called Social Media Ads That Work, about running ads that get results. This is the part before ads. This is the part today that we're going to talk about that's going to make the ads work even better for you to find the right people. And if you don't have that course, I believe that you're going to be able to take what I teach on this lesson today and be ready to get more results with that course. Or if you do have that course, Social Media Ads That Work, it's only $47 on my website. You're going to be able to take what I'm teaching in this specifically as it relates to your organic content, specifically as it relates to the content that you post every single day. Not what we're running as ads, but just what's being posted. You're going to be able to create content that's going to resonate with your target audience and attract them to you. And you're going to be able to do a few things. Build audiences that you can use then to target ads to using what I teach in that course. In that course, I also show you how to take your organic content, boost it out to get more people consuming your content, to create artificial intelligence audiences. They're called lookalike audiences, where the algorithm finds people that are just like those that are consuming your content to target more of what you have to offer to them. And so this is the first part of that, is when you create content that resonates with people, people engage with it. And I'm not talking about the amen, the hand claps, the good jobs, the thumbs up, the likes. That's not what I'm talking about engagement. I'm talking about deep engagement. And deep engagement is very, very different. It's value. Deep engagement is a few different things. Somebody's watching 75 to 100% of your video content. If you have a 3-minute video, a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video, and they're watching all the way through to the end of that, that person is engaging on a much deeper level than somebody who just watched 15 seconds and closed the window. If you have a 10-minute video and somebody sits there for 10 minutes and watches the content and consumes it, they're engaging more than the person who only watched the first 15 seconds and clicked off. This is a very simple thing, and so that's deep engagement. There's another side of deep engagement, though, that goes even further, is when they start to do two things. Asking questions in the comments that relate to what you talked about, that give you an inside look into their specific situation. And this is the type of engagement that you want, is you want your target customer to be able to be vulnerable enough with you to open up in your comments or in direct messages to share with you what they are going through specifically in their situation that relates to your content. And there's a few things that happen here. Or the other one is they send you a message, a comment or a direct message where they open up. And what happens here is they give you clues as to how to find more people like them. What you're looking for, what I'm looking for instance, is people that are like you. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you got about 5 minutes into this podcast. I'm looking for my target customer is all of the people in the world that are probably going to get about 5 minutes into my podcast, this episode right here, because that person is much more engaged. You're much more engaged than somebody that listened to the first 60 seconds and decided to not listen further. And let's say that you shut this podcast off now. You're a less engaged person than somebody that listens all the way to the end of this podcast. And so anytime that I create content, material, whether it's podcast, whether it's on my social media, I'm creating this to find the people that are most engaging on a deep level, asking me follow-up questions. I have a mechanism built into my podcast where I can find the people that are most engaged with my podcast, that listen all the way to the end. And so what I'm looking for is more people like those that listen all the way to the end of my podcast, that watch all the way to the end of my content, that leave comments that tell me about their specific situation, to create a feedback loop where I'm getting interaction and feedback of them. Not about how good my podcast is, by the way. That's not the feedback that I want. That's very low value when somebody just praises you for how good your content is. That's not what you want. I know that we want that. I know that you want that, right? You personally want that. We all want to be praised for our content. We want to hear that it's good. But I want to shift your perspective a little bit, and hopefully by the end of this, you're going to see this unfold to where that type of engagement is actually extremely low quality. What you want is you want somebody asking you questions that follow up your content, not just good job, but saying, wow, this is my specific situation. What can you help me with? So for instance, I did a couple videos this week and I got a comment from a guy. He said, if I don't have something to sell on social media, what kind of content should I make? He watched 2 videos of mine about making content, and that was a question he asked me. So it was specifically about, are you not getting engagement and how to get more engagement? And so his deep question, his deep interaction question was, if I don't have something to sell, right? This shows that he's opening up to me enough to share his unique situation that I didn't know about previously, and wondering, okay, if I don't have something to sell, what kind of content should I make? So now that shows me, okay, my target customer, a lot of them don't already have something to sell, or if they do, it's not built yet, and they want to put something out there that's valuable to find their audience. In fact, a lot of you right now that might be listening to this might be in that position where you don't have something to sell, but you want to know what kind of content attracts them. Or if you do have something to sell, you're not selling a lot of it yet. And so I'm going to break down my formula for you in this of how to create content on your social media that finds the people, that grabs onto it, kind of hacks the algorithm a little bit, that finds the people that are going to be most engaged with what you're talking about. And then those people can go into an audience that you can run ads to, which again, I show in my ads course. You can run an ad to the people that watch all the way through a video to show them additional pieces of content. You can run an ad to people that are similar to those that watch through the end of the video. There's mechanisms already built into Facebook and Instagram that track if somebody's watching that far through your content to create audiences. You don't have to do anything special for this to happen. There's no buttons that you need to press or maneuver. This all happens behind the scenes automatically. There's actually no way to turn it off, in fact. And so this data is already there when you make content. What we're doing is how can we make content that's going to get consumed? How do we make content that's going to bring a transformation to somebody. And that's another deep level, the deepest level of engagement. Not just somebody who asks a question, but they take what you gave them in the content, applied it to their life, and got a tangible result. Where they come back to you and say, I just used what you taught and it worked for me. That's the deepest level of engagement that you want to get, is somebody that watched all the way through, took action, and got a result from it. And these are the types of people that I want to work with the most. This is the type of person, all of my content, all of my podcast episodes, all of my products, all of that is built around those people. And so for you, for your unique product or service, this is the same exact thing for you. And it starts by thinking about, what are the frustrations of the people that need my solution that I have to offer? Or if you don't have a solution to offer, the potential solution that you will offer in the future. That possible solution in the future. What frustrations do they have? And I wrote down a few of these here based on some of the clients that I consult. Not all of them apply to one person, but these are from about 15 different clients that I do coaching with. Some of them, they may be parents with children of learning disabilities. They may have been traumatized, very stressed out at their job, burnt out, just broke, no money. They have no energy. Their energy broke. They struggle to communicate with other people. They feel a lack of responsibility in their life or in the lives of their loved ones. They need help focusing or help staying fit and on track. And so all of this, I'm looking at this right here. A lot of my clients have some way to bring order to chaos in some way. Uniquely. Could be with creatives. Could be helping a creative bring order and describe what they do in a good way. Could be just taking their leadership to the next level. Anything like that. Whatever your thing is that you do, could be just better health and wellness, better sleep. They're tired of something. They're frustrated. And so what we want to do is we want to look at two things. What are their frustrations? And how can we solve those? And we bridge the frustration to the solution in our content. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to say this. Podcasts are a little bit different than content on social media. When I'm making this podcast, I'm not really unlocking it as much in that way. Most of the people who listen to a podcast are committed to listen all the way through. And so I don't use this structure for podcast content creation. I'm specifically talking about Facebook and then stuff that goes on like Instagram TV or written form content that might go on Instagram attached to a photograph specifically, or what's in your Facebook groups. And so that's what we're talking about here today. In the future, I might also teach about the structure of a podcast. It's very different. It's more of a lesson, more of a mentorship, more of a coaching type of a thing. The people that listen to my podcast, they kind of already have a feeling of what I'm about. The people that are on my social media have no clue who I'm about. And that's who we're talking about right here. Is how do we find the people that don't know you yet? That have no clue who you are yet? To bring transformation to their lives in less than 3 to 5 minutes. And that's the formula that we're going to break down. And if you can do that, if you can help people grab onto that, it builds rapport with them. It builds trust in their mind that you know what you're talking about and that you can deliver. And when it comes time for you to give a call to action of some kind, many times my call to action on social media is go listen to my podcast. If I can get somebody watching through a 3 to 5 minute video and then going to listen to my podcast, they are much more likely to be my target customer that's qualified for the coaching that I have. And so for you, that might be go listen to this free training that I have on an opt-in offer. It could be go sign up for this offer. It could be go sign up for this course. It could be go listen to this podcast. Some of you, it might just be as simple as this. go listen to the video that I did last week on the topic of how to get more energy. I'm going to post a link in the comments below. That's a simple call to action that can bring a solution to somebody, and then you can have content that drives them to another piece of content that will move them along a path. You're letting people come along a customer journey with you. We're respecting the customer journey. And so whatever we can do to kind of find a cold audience out here, these are the people in the abyss. They don't know who you are, right? Let's say you have a piece of content that resonated really well with your warm audience, okay? So what you can do is you can create a secondary piece of content that's going to warm up people to be ready to listen to that warm audience content. And so your call to action on this cold audience content may direct them to this warmer audience content. Could be an opt-in offer. Could be just another piece of content on your social media, and you can grab that URL, that link. You could even say it's pinned to the top of my profile. You can find the link in my bio. You can find it as on Instagram, like a highlight. You can leave it as a highlight and run it as a story. These are all different ways to direct people specifically to something that they can consume to take it to the next level. But what we're specifically talking about here is creating that content that finds the cold audience that doesn't know who you are yet. I think a lot of us are pretty good at communicating with our warm audience that knows who we are already, that knows about us, that is already resonating with what we're doing. A podcast is for a warm audience. Mine is, for instance. If you're doing a piece of content that's really just action steps, you're not breaking down a problem, that's for a more warm audience. And so how do we warm people up in this way? And what's a formula that you can use to communicate with a cold audience to warm them up, to bridge the gap to the solution that you offer? We're going to break this down right here, that formula. Think about that target customer, the problems they have, the frustrations they have, and I want you to think about yourself personally before you found the solution that you have to offer. Whether it's your network marketing company, whether it is your teaching, whether it's your training, whether it's whatever you're selling, whether it's just another piece of social media content that's out there, whether it's to join a challenge, to get coaching with you, whether it's to sign up for a free offer. You get it? All of these things, whatever your thing is. I'm not going to keep repeating what those things are so that we can keep moving forward on this topic. Whatever your thing is that you're directing people to, before you found that thing, right? If you have an offer, there was a time in your life before you discovered what it is that you're offering to people, what it is that you're teaching in that content, what it is that you're selling. There was a you existed before you personally found that solution that you're offering to the marketplace. Think back to your frustrations. And where do you find some commonality with your target customer's frustrations? Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I don't know what my target customer's frustrations are. That's okay. I want you to, if that's you, just focus on your frustrations before you found the solution that you're offering and start talking from that way, because that's going to attract people to give you more of this feedback to see who you're resonating with. And I have a number of episodes specifically on diving into empathy to find your target customer. Episode number 41 of the Grow Your Life podcast breaks down finding that target customer. I'm pulling it up here just to verify that it was episode number 41. It's called Finding and Reaching Your Target Customer. And so if you haven't listened to that episode yet, if you haven't gone through my social media ads course, That's really going to help you know where they exist and get a little bit ahead of the curve on what their frustrations are. Once you know what those are, then you start to validate them by talking from a place of solutions that you can present to people. This is the formula of this. What is the solution that I can bring to the table for somebody that has this frustration and specifically really resonates with the frustrations that you previously had before you found it? That factor is important because you're going to come from a place in your heart. There's going to be a heart coherence, a heart convergence, a heart connection with the frustrations of your audience if you're coming from that place of your own frustrations that you also possessed, because you're going to marry those two together and say and show people very clearly, because it's your own frustrations, I know what it's like. You can truly say I know what it's like when your frustrations from the past are similar to the frustrations of your target audience and you speak from that place. And this is a state of being vulnerable enough to open up and share a little bit of your story. Share a little bit about where you've been, where you came from, what you came through, what you accomplished, and what battles you won along the way. Not to hear from people, not to get good job or wow, you really accomplished a lot. Though we do like to hear that. This is all about resonating on a heart level with the person that has the same frustrations that you had, what you would say to you or someone like you back then, to then connect them and bridge the gap between frustration and solution that you have to offer. Okay? So this is your solution. This is the frustration, which is going to resonate similar to the frustrations that you had when you were in that place, right? All of my content is based on frustrations that I had in business myself. I didn't know what kind of content to make that resonated with people. I didn't know how to get good engagement. At one point, I didn't know how to run ads. I feel like I've been running ads forever, but there was a time when I didn't know how to do that. And I also, here's a key part of this, because I work so often with people that don't know how to run ads, I do know those frustrations. I understand how difficult it is. And so I try to really break that down with people. And so your goal in running content is you want to validate the frustrations of these people. You want to validate those issues that they're having to show a few things. I understand where you're coming from. I understand whether I've been there myself or if it's like ads, I work with people that have had those frustrations. If you've worked with people. Now, if you haven't before, you're going to want to start to build some case studies. You're going to want to build some stories. Many times I'll share in my content, I was just working with a client last week. Many of you wonder why I do those 15-minute calls for free, right? Or you can schedule a time with me on my website, jeremiahkrakowski.com/free call. You can schedule a 15-minute call with me. A big reason how I monetize it is I'm able to hear from my target customer what their struggles are, and then I can take that right into my coaching, my training, and my content to deliver value. So I'm able to monetize those calls. It's not a waste of time for me. Even if nobody books me for coaching, though I think all of the ones who hop on the phone with me can use my coaching. Even if they don't buy from me, I can still take that experience, that feedback of what they're going through and monetize it in a way with my content and with the types of material that I'm delivering and developing in the future, what I'm developing. And so we want to bring all of that together. We want to validate the frustrations at the beginning of the content. So for instance, I'll say, some of you might be thinking, this is what I'll do on my content. For example, some of you might be thinking, I'm so tired of using coffee to stay awake and then I crash at the end, right? This is a frustration that a client of mine's clients had. Or I'm so tired of my kids not being focused on their schoolwork. Or I'm so tired of my spouse not listening to me. So you want to resonate with those frustrations. I'm so tired of there's no business. You might be saying, why is there no business? All the business dried up for photographers. It's another client of mine. She has that. Her clients' frustrations are that. So whatever your frustrations in your market are, you really want to learn what those frustrations are. And we validate that frustration because that shows that we understand and we care. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a bridge. So the bridge connects the frustration to the solution that we have to offer. Many times the solution that I offer people are these podcast episodes. A solution that I offer people is a free call, is my social media course, is my group coaching stuff that I'm doing in my Grow Your Life Facebook group. We do monthly group coaching calls for free for people in there where they can ask questions. These are solutions that I'm bringing to the table for people. But to get people to grab onto that, I can't just come out there and say, hey, look, I got this solution. You need it. Nobody grabs onto that. Nobody grabs onto just throwing solutions at random people. We think that they should, right? It's such a good solution. You need CBD oil. It's such a good solution. You need my recipe kit. It's such a good solution. You need my course on how to use SEO to get more customers. It's such a good solution that I have to work on your gut health. But if we come out there and just beat people over the head with our solutions that we have to offer, we're not going to connect with people. When you warm somebody up to a point that they know who you are, that they've talked with you, that they've had conversations with you before, they're open and ready to learning what they don't know. They're open and ready to hear the solutions that you have to offer. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you're my audience that's open and ready to hear the solutions that I bring to the table every single week. But before you found me, before you started listening to this, you were what I call the pre-customer. And so in that content, I had to validate the problems, the frustrations, and bridge the gap to the solution. Listen to a podcast episode, schedule a call with me, buy my product. And that's the same thing that you're going to do with your content. So what you want to do is you want to validate the frustration that they have, and you're going to mirror the exact words that they're using or the words that you were using yourself. You ever find yourself saying, man, how do I get more engagement on social media? I hear this all the time from people. And that's how I would start what I just said right there, right? Do you ever find yourself saying, man, how do I get more engagement on social media? It's not converting. I'm doing all this work and not getting any results. And many of you listening to this right now, you've experienced that. See? You didn't even know that I was talking about my content, because a lot of you listening to this right now, that is your situation. That so connects with your problem and your frustration. What I just said right there, that's how I would start content. Have you ever found yourself saying, I'm struggling? This is the content. I want you to get this. I know some of you might be listening and you're still not, maybe you're still not grabbing onto it. The content, the way that I would start a piece of content is, many of you are saying, this is the content that I would say. Many of you are saying, I'm struggling to get results from all the work and effort that I'm putting into my social media and wondering, how can I get results? So that's how I'm able to validate the frustrations with my clients. And so you're going to do that with whatever your thing is. You might be saying, I'm so burnt out at the end of the day and want to know how I can manage my time better. This is something that if you help people with time management, that are burnt out executives, for example, that's how you would start it, to validate those problems. And you're going to get better at that language. This is just a template for you. That's why you want to get those deep comments, those deep feedback comments from people, to hear from them, to get into conversations with people of what they are going through, to validate those issues that they're having, so that you can have the opportunity. We're creating solution opportunities so that you can have the opportunity to bridge the gap from their problem that you're validating to the solution that you have to offer. And how do you bridge the gap? This is the formula for that. After you validate the problem that they're having, we want to bridge the gap to the solution. Let's say it's somebody that is burnt out and stressed out at work and they're tired of using coffee to get energy. So the way that you would bridge the gap is two different ways. You can say, listen, I struggled with this before, and what I found that worked was a very simple solution is finding the root cause of why I had these energy issues. Or here's another way to bridge it. The clients that I've worked with that have had these issues, that have gotten the most results, did so by identifying the root cause of this issue and started to work towards getting off coffee and having more energy naturally. So what that is it's a bridge to the solution. We're not just saying, here's your problem, here's your solution. You suck and you got to get better. That's not what we're saying. Nobody wants to feel like they suck. Nobody wants to feel like they're making a mistake. Nobody wants to feel like they're failing. So we need to validate what are the problems that the target customer has. We bridge the gap by sharing our stories, by sharing our case studies, by sharing our results. What have we tried and what have we seen that happens? So for instance, if you're making content, you're trying to find a target customer that is, could be a wedding professional that is a photographer. They're looking to kind of reinvent themselves, maybe doing some other things or selling some different packages. You validate the problem. We've run out of business. There's no business out there. But what I found is with the clients that I've worked with is that if they can start to strategically set themselves up for success and create certain conversations in a way that isn't selling but is organic and natural, they can set themselves up for success to get more business in the future. So this is a potential bridge right there for that type of a scenario. Again, that's a template for you to think about. You want to connect it with stories. And if you don't have those stories, start to get them. Start to develop them in your life. Start to become a product of your product, to have your own stories. People will really resonate when you have your own stories that you're using. They also love it, though. What does work better than your own personal stories is stories of other people that you've helped. And so if you've helped other people, like I've been helping clients this past week, use this method to get results with their social media content. I've broken down individually with people on my 15-minute calls, on my one-on-one coaching for their individual unique industry and product, how to create content this way. That's what I've been helping people with in my coaching a lot, is helping them communicate powerfully in their content to find their target customer. We spend time diving in and discovering what are those problems that we need to validate. We spend time researching together and helping give a framework for their unique business. What is the bridge that connects to the solution? And so if you can bridge that gap with case studies, whether it's your own story, your own experience, or even better, other people's, which is a big reason why if you can help people for free, if you can help give people results with a free training, if you can help give people results without spending money, those become instant case studies that you have access to help people with. I've helped 2 businesses this year hit $100,000 in sales using this method that I'm teaching right now. Been coaching them for about a year and a half. $100,000 a month in sales, not year. They were already doing $100,000 a year last year when we started working together. But using this method right here that I'm sharing with you, I've helped 2 of my clients get over $100,000 a month, $1 million level, using this. And when I started working with them, we were at 0. And this is what happens with the clients that I work with, that we spend time consistently together, breaking this stuff apart, breaking this down. Listen, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And what you want to do is you want to take your message, that message that's on your heart, and filter it down in a way that connects with your target customer, that resonates on a heart level, that grabs the people that don't know who you are yet, to identify so that they can see it in their mind. Your whole goal with this whole process is to help your target customer see the solution for themselves before you even have to say it. Yeah. And that's a deep level of engagement. Is when your target customer can resonate with the solution before you even offer it, and they can't wait to hear the solution from you. They're willing to hop on a call with you. They're willing to listen to a podcast. They're willing to sign up for a free program or a paid program. I use this same method for my ads course ads. I say, you've been frustrated running ads, not getting results. Listen, I've done this and helped my clients do this, and that's what I'm going to help you do as well with my ads course. Help you get over $100,000 a month in sales, just starting with $5 to $10 a day. Simple, and it works, and it gets results. And if you're somebody that knows that you can deliver on your promises, you really do owe it to your audience to be bold, to be courageous, to tell your audience what you can bring to the table. And if you're somebody that needs to grow in having some case studies, having some results, spend some time doing that. You want to facilitate conversations with your target customer. I talked about that last week on last week's podcast, creating more profit-producing conversations. And I broke down what that looks like. What we're talking about now is what is a single mechanism, content on your social media that can lead to a profit-producing conversation for you. And even your social media content is the beginnings of a conversation, especially if you boost it out there to an audience, whether it's a lookalike audience, whether it's a cold audience that doesn't know who you are. We ran a campaign for executives that needed help having more energy to people that followed Forbes magazine. And it converted really well. Converted at, I think, 25 cents or 50 cents per person for name and email address leads, doing that into a challenge. And now I'm working with that client to develop, okay, what's the challenge? What's the copy? What's the offer that we're going to close sales with on this to convert these 300 to 500 people to sales for you, to eventually get them to join your higher level. She does health coaching and gut analysis stuff and a lot of testing stuff. And we all started with that, just helping people that are tired of having no energy to do more in their life. And so when you make content, you want to validate the problem, bridge the gap to the solution. We haven't even talked about the solution yet and how to deliver that. And then the call to action. You want to validate the problem, bridge the gap with case studies, with stories. If you don't have those yet, develop them, start to get them. And then this is where, because this is rapport building, right? You're building rapport in less than 3 to 5 minutes in this process. Once that rapport is built and people are open to hearing, if they're watching all the way through a 3 to 5 minute video, if they've gotten 3 to 5 minutes in, that you've got rapport built. You're building rapport. Maybe they're not ready to buy now, but they might watch the video you do next week. Maybe they'll leave a comment below and ask more questions related to the frustrations that they're having. When you can bridge that gap to the solution, we start with 2 sections. We talk about the solution by painting a picture in their mind of how this all ties together for them. How this all ties together to get a solution to the problem that they're having. We're not giving the call to action yet, though. We're just painting a picture of what's possible. Imparting vision of possibilities about what can happen, what you offer to people. So you're telling people what it is. And I'll usually do this on mine. Listen, if you haven't scheduled a 15-minute call with me, I break down, these calls. You don't need to have your whole business built. In fact, a lot of the people that I coach, I help them build their business, and we do business building with them. Instead of services, it's like having a trusted advisor along your side every step of the way while you're building the process. Solution could be for, if you have an offer on meal planning. If you've struggled to know what meals to eat and want a quick and easy solution to do that, I've created a program for you that simplifies the process of planning your meals. I've created a free training for you that walks you through step by step how to get more clients and the first steps to using SEO to get booked in your photography business. These are just a few different solutions that a lot of my clients offer that they can bring to the table. And so then that's the solution. You presented the solution. You don't spend a lot of time talking about that, because what it is you finally have people ready to hear the solution, and it's time to quickly go from solution to call to action. I'm going to leave a link on this post. This is how you say it. I'm going to leave a link on this post. Put your name and email address in there, and I can't wait to hear your results from going through this program with me. We'll talk soon. Fill out the form and schedule a 15-minute call with me so we can walk through your problems, your sticking points, and start to develop a plan for you to reach your goals. I look forward to working with you. We'll talk soon. And you're silent. And that's how your content ends. And I did this week, and I got like every video, without even boosting it, like 5 leads off of each video, 4 to 5 leads. It worked well. This is the same formula that we're using for our clients that are getting the most results. Is they're able to communicate in a powerful way on their content, validate the problem, bridge the gap to their solution, not spend a bunch of time trying to validate the solution, by the way. You want to validate the problem, and then you're pointing them to a solution. Too often people try to lead with their solution and prove that their solution is going to help somebody, and that's a backwards way of doing that. What you want to do is you want to validate the problem, bridge the gap, offer the solution. Some of you, your solution also might be not an offer, but it could also be 3 tips that they can use this week. Yeah. So if you have a problem that you're validating, you're going to bridge the gap to 3 tips. And so this is a 2-part solution. So you have 3 tips for them, which are free on that piece of content. You might take 3 minutes to talk about that, or 2 minutes to talk about that solution. So what you're doing is you validated the problem, you bridge the gap to solution A, which you're going to give them in that content. You're going to give away the whole enchilada solution, the high value stuff that people pay you for. I'm giving you on this podcast the high value stuff that people pay me for, because I want to get this in the hands of as many people as possible to help them. You're going to give away the high value solution, 3 tips to boost your energy, 3 tips to get more focused in your business and start to get more results and clarity without feeling like everything is an emergency. And so what you're doing is you're delivering an initial solution in your content, and then that bridges it to the next level solution, which is usually your offer, which is usually maybe scheduling a call with you, which is usually that opt-in offer or that product that you're selling. And so we start by validating the problem, bridging the gap to the contextual solution, a very simple thing that people can grab onto and resonate with quickly. They don't need to listen through it for 45 to 50 minutes. It's 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes where they can grab onto this solution, apply it in their life this week to get a result. And you can either deliver a call to action, could be just as simple as leave a comment below and let me know what happens when you try this. That could also be your call to action after the solution that you deliver to people. So what you're doing is you're presenting to people the solution to the problem that you validated, the frustration that you validated. You're presenting the way to solve that, sometimes in 2 levels. You can say, I'm validating the problem, I'm bridging the gap, and then here's 3 tips for you to get results. To take this to the next level, I created a course for you. Register now. So that's validate, I'm bridging it with case studies, I'm giving you 3 tips that you can apply today, I'm telling you about another solution that I have to offer to take this to the next level, and I'm giving you a call to action. So How do you know which of these to use, right? That's going to be a lot of the big question that I get from people right here is, at what time do you use which type of content and solution delivery? Mix it up. Sometimes you just want to get feedback from people. If you want to hear from people what they're going through, you're just going to deliver a simple solution on your content, and the only call to action is let me know in the comments below. Could be as simple as just schedule a call with me. Or if you want to skip that, you're just going to give your call to action solution, which I also often do. And these work really well for ad campaigns because you're just directing people on a one track to take an action. There's not two different things that they need to think about. Okay? And so what's going to happen is over time, you're going to want to do all of these at once, not in the same piece of content, but like, okay, on day one, you're going to do this. Next week, you might do this. The week after, you're going to do this type. And see which one you get the most feedback from people that's going to work with you. You really want to start to facilitate those conversations where you can hear from your target customer. What are they struggling with? What are they going through? And what are they dealing with? So that you can then, you're going to take that data, you're going to take that information about those new frustrations that they tell you, because you want to hear the new frustrations that they're having. You're going to take that, write it down, and your future content, your future offers, your future products and services are going to be connected with that, and your customers are going to tell you how to sell to them. They're going to give you the exact language to sell to them by mirroring back to them the exact words that they use. When you're validating somebody's frustration, you want to mirror back to them the same language that they're using. If you are bridging the gap, you want to mirror the same language that your existing case studies and customers are using. How do you know what those are? That's why you want to facilitate more conversations, whether it's in the comments, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in direct message, to hear from people, to listen to them, to hear what they are going through, to deliver solutions to the problems that they have. Your most frustrated customer possesses the answer to how to sell to them. Because if you can solve that direct frustration that they say, even if you don't totally understand it, this is where empathy comes in, and realize, listen, if it's a problem for them, it's probably a problem for other people, and I can solve it. And present it in a way that's powerful to an audience that may not know who I am, to bring them into my fold and connect them with the different levels of solutions that I offer. Okay? And so that's how you create social media content that connects with the people that you're trying to reach, that connects with a cold audience that you're trying to reach out there, that connects with organically people to get them to take action, to purchase from you. You have to tell people what to do, by the way. You do have to directly say, click the link, register. If you don't do that, they literally will not do it. People will not. You might think that you do that. Most people will not. Your level of engagement and results goes boom through the roof when you directly speak to people what action you want them to take. And that's the last thing that you say. So you're connecting, you're like chain linking your content to the solution, the action that they want to take, and everything builds upon itself. Okay? And so if you've listened to this today, I'm sure this brought up a lot of different ideas, more questions for you, more things that you want to grow in and learn. I'd love to know how I can serve you better. Listen, if you haven't yet scheduled a 15-minute call with me, I'd love to talk with you about where you are at in your business. These aren't sales calls. These are calls where I love to listen to people to hear what are they going through. This is how I get feedback, so that I can help serve you more with new content, with new products, with new services that are out there. I reach people through ads. If my one-on-one coaching is a good fit for you, I'll send you a link to that as a follow-up email after our call. But that's it. I'm not going to do a hard pitch, a hard sell. My one-on-one coaching right now until the end of the month is $347 an hour or $1,100 an hour. $1,100 for a package of 4 hours. Okay? And it's going up on July 1st. So if you haven't scheduled a call with me, if you haven't booked one-on-one coaching with me yet, I would love to talk with you and see how we can help you take things to the next level with this. to help you build your offer, to help you build your content, to help you build your campaigns, to help you get more customers to buy from you in your business. And if you haven't as well, you can go over to my Instagram and leave #GrowYourLife on my Instagram feed. And I pick one winner every single week for a 30-minute coaching call with me that you'll have access to go over any of this stuff together. We can do this and go over and build things together. For 30 minutes, anything goes. This is a little different than the 15-minute calls. The 15-minute calls are pretty short. 30 minutes gives us more time to unpack some things. You can win a 30-minute call with me by leaving #GrowYourLife on my Instagram in the comments, and I pick one winner every single week on Sunday. Look forward to talking with you. Look forward to working with you. Look forward to hearing from you how we can grow together. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.